You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Well, guys and gals, I guess you know there has been a lot of controversy this week over what was perceived to be the number one overall pick in next year's 2024 NFL Draft. Now, should be noted, Caleb Williams could decide to stay on another year, and in light of everything that's gone on the last couple of weeks, he may decide he wants to stay another year because he's had a rough few weeks in college. And keep in mind, much of his success over the last few years has been throwing, to lack of a better way of putting it, wide-ass open college receivers. And we know that, and that's always one of the issues when quarterbacks make that transition. Now, there's things I like about his game. He's got decent enough size. I mean, he's 6'1", he's 215. He's played in 35 college games already, and he's certainly got a touchdown-to-interception ratio you're going to love, and 1,000 attempts. But Washington handed him his ass this past weekend. They just lost a game. He played well, but of course, he had a really poor game against Notre Dame, and it just has not been a great 3 out of the last 4 games. And, of course, very vividly, very publicly, everybody saw him go to the stands and cry with his mother and cover his face up while he's doing it. And as you can imagine, he's taking a lot of shots. And the worst part about this whole situation, and this is where the NFL is the NFL. Fact is, you've got to be a hard ass to be successful in the NFL. You have to be as mentally tough and have such mental strength to go along with the physical attributes. And sometimes the game's more mental than it is physical. I mean, Tom Brady was never a physical specimen. We know that. Well, now he's taken some serious shrapnel. You've got the New York media saying he's not going to make it with the New York Giants. Yeah, I mean, just plain and simple. You got GRONK now coming out. It's a little weird. And you've got Ted Johnson. Of course, he played longtime great Patriot, 3-time Super Bowl champion, linebacker. Ted Johnson's tough as nails. And he's saying, I'd be hesitant to bring him into my program. That is after Super Bowl champion Amani Toomer and Super Bowl champ Robert Mathis both said, no, you can't have his Charmin soft ass coming onto an NFL team to lead men. They won't have it. They won't take to it. They're not going to respond to that. The NFL is a harsh, take-no-prisoners league, and his actions right here, you can see it. There he is right there. There he is right there. He's crying behind the scenes in this video, sobbing. And this really took a lot of people off guard. Let's start with GRONK. And look, we're talking about GRONK. We're talking about Ted Johnson because we're talking about the Patriots possibly drafting one of these top quarterbacks. We're talking about the Giants because as of right now, it looks like the Giants may be in line to take one of these top quarterbacks. All right, New England, New York media, holy crap, they'll eat this guy alive. They'll eat this guy alive. You'll look up, you'll be talking about Ryan Leaf in the locker room. This could be absolutely awful. The heartbreaking loss for USC against Washington left Trojans quarterback Caleb Williams crying in his mom's arms and left at least one former NFL star conflicted over the surprising scene. Wasn't it just a week or two ago that he very vividly and openly looked like he was sulking on the sideline? And that got some attention. Quote, I was like, that's a little too much. Like, why is he crying? Question mark. Rob Gronkowski said on Up and Adams show on Thursday. On the flip side, he emphasized that Williams may in fact just be a mama's boy. I don't know that does him any good. But at the same time, I'm like, maybe he's a mama's boy and there's nothing wrong with you loving your mama. And then Gronk would go on to say, also, maybe he has a lot of passion about winning. Maybe he cares a lot. I don't know. So it could go either way. But these are not questions that anybody in the NFL wants to be asking. Overall, I did think it was just a little weird to do it right there. Gronkowski said, you jump up into the stands and you're crying with the paper over your head. It just looked like a weird scenario. We're talking about a league where coaches and GMs ask wide receivers about their moms being prostitutes. And they do that to see if you're going to mentally break or have an issue with it. New York media, WFAN, that's a station I listen to a lot. I listen to these guys, Dukes and Jerry Recco, in the morning show, the warm-up show before Boomer and Geo. And they got to talking about him because the Giants are going to be in line. Quote, I don't want that guy, said Al Dukes. He's crying in the stands. He ain't going to make it here. Wham, we lost. Not interested. Recco agreed, saying he's half into the stands, leaning into the crowd. The mom's holding a sheet of paper over his head. What a disaster. Later in the show, they were talking about Deion Sanders' Colorado team losing seemingly every week now, and Dukes interjected, at least they're not crying in the stands. Dukes mocked the voices who were praising Williams for crying. Everyone was like, oh, look at this guy. I want him for my team. Look how invested he is. He, in an exaggerated tone. Yeah, I'm sure it was sarcastic. And he added, we're starting to see the children of what I call the nice father generation. Yeah, my dad would have had none of this bullshit. I can tell you right now. None of it. Ted Johnson on the Toucher and Rich show. I mean, just coming on. Look at this headline. I'd be hesitant to bring him into my program. This has got real repercussions for Caleb Williams now. It does. I mean, everybody's scared of drafting the next Ryan Leaf and Jamarcus Russell. We're looking at Kyler Murray right now. He's viewed as mentally weak. He is. Getting upset because there was a video game clause in his contract. Ted Johnson expressed some concern about Caleb's behavior. He mentioned how he jumped into the stands and cried in public in the public setting after the game. Quote, my first thought is that I'd be somewhat hesitant to bring him into my program. Not only did he jump into the stands and cry in his mother's arms, which, hey, man, you know, it's 2023, man. I mean, a grown man can cry. It's all right. But in a public forum like that, after a loss like that, and then his comments on the podium, we were almost as bad as when he said in his post-game press conference, Ted Johnson made the point that a player's mental makeup is crucial. Oh, here we go. And he recalled how he criticized Johnny Manziel's behavior in the past, which later proved to be a valid concern. It was absolutely one of the issues that people had with Johnny Manziel coming out. And guess what? A lot of people were right. It was just the instableness of the situation mentally. All right? And he may have a work ethic. I've got no doubts he will work circles around Johnny Manziel. And I like Johnny. But we know, and Johnny has famously admitted, and it's come to public light, he didn't put in the time. He didn't put in the work. I still think he had the ability had he applied himself in a Tom Brady-like manner. But the fact is, that is what people are looking for. Look at how much Patrick Mahomes is dealing with. His wife in the public limelight. Jackson Mahomes, his brother, who cannot get his shit together to save his life and is now in legal trouble for sexual battery. I mean, Patrick's dealing with that mental ball and chain coming around, dragging him down all the time. Patrick Mahomes is not out there crying anybody a river over a loss. Not to mention, think about how tough Patrick was. I mean, getting his ankle all busted up, coming out of the game and then coming back in, refusing to stay out. That is what people are looking for in their NFL players and especially quarterbacks. They want the quarterback to be the mentally toughest dude on the team. I mean, I'm kind of like, well, maybe Dan Campbell could take him and work some of that manly cryingness into him. I mean, I understand Dan Campbell's got passion and this and that and the other. But I just can't see it. I almost feel like it'd be better for him to go back to school another year, see if he can mature a bit. But it was a really bad look. He's releasing these statements on Instagram about mental health. That is not what NFL teams want to see. That's the last thing they want to see if you want to know the absolute truth. Wow. Unbelievable. I've seen a lot of people have defended this. I don't get it. I don't get it. As a 48-year-old guy, I don't get it. I wasn't raised like that. I got no relation to it, you know. That's crazy. Tell me what you think, Black and White Sports 2 supporters. Caleb Williams, is he your quarterback? If you are a Giants fan, if you are a Patriots fan, you know, we cover the Patriots a lot on this channel. Is this your quarterback? I mean, there's people that talk about the lack of mental toughness from Mac Jones. I think I don't even think he was crying. I think he was screaming in pain because his ankle got severely jacked up. People made fun of him for that. I don't know. I don't know about this. It's a potential disaster if you ask me. Number 1 overall pick is what you invest. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.